Did it shoot?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great segue into the podcast today.
Yeah. Do the laugh track.
Why wouldn't it be working? Oh, my bad.
There it is. Wow. I feel so welcome. I feel like there's people that care. I don't know why he deals with me. It's fun. We're having fun.
We're having fun. All right, so let's go.
All right.
All right, so
Are we starting the intro over again?
Yep.
All right. So mad. Look at him. Look at how frustrated he is already. It's adorable.
ooh. Hi, and welcome to Straight Out of the Sandbox. I'm your host, Josh Schaefer,
And I'm your co-host, Josh DiDomenico.
and we got a great show for you today. We are on location in upstate New York with another Marine, because Josh loves having Marines on.
I'm fucking surrounded.
Yeah. Nick, introduce yourself.
Name's Nick Almy. Is in the Marine Corps. Served with Josh for 4 years.
He's got a lot of charisma, ladies and gentlemen. He's
Nice.
gonna fucking crush it.
So stick around. We got a great show for you today. All right, so we'll come back in. All right. You're so loud. I have to turn your volume down.
Yeah, just
Like,
basically. yeah.
So we planned this trip. We came up here to see Nick, and I was like, we should record a podcast. I brought all the equipment. I thought I double checked everything, and I forgot the adapter for my headphones. So I am headphoneless today.
just out here
Can't
raw
hear
dogging
shit.
life.
It's very weird not having my headphones on because
Yep.
I can't hear anything that's happening. There's
Isn't
probably
it-
some background noise. We don't care. This room is so sick. There's
Yeah.
like 100 antlers in here. There's pictures.
Look
on
at the
the
American
wall.
antler. That one's literally my
that
favorite. I
one's
don't know
really
who
cool.
painted that, but that's dope.
There's stuff everywhere. There's guns everywhere. I just feel very American in here.
So American.
So, Nick, tell us about your military service. So, when did you join? What'd you do?
All right. Joined in 2003 and joined as a 3521 motor team mechanic. May have possibly met you somewhere in that timeline.
Well,
And
we'll
then-
go over all that.
Yeah, and then hung out for 4 years.
So, 4 years. You didn't do
yep.
any reserve time, right?
I did not.
Okay. So, a couple deployments.
2 deployments.
So, fun story about Nick, and a story that I don't hear almost anywhere. So, Nick and I did know each other. We grew up maybe 3.5 hours away from each other. We joined the Marine Corps, know each other. We get assigned to the same platoon,
Yeah.
bunk mates.
Yep.
I'm like, oh,
That's dope.
so we meet each other. Nope, whatever. We figure out we got the same MOS. I'm like, awesome. So we leave there. We go to MCT together. I got dropped in MCT through some fault of my own. No big deal. So then I graduate. We graduate from MCT, which is like Marine Combat Training.
Mm-hmm.
I get to school. He's there. We get assigned to the same platoon for school after waiting for 3 months to get picked up. Then we get assigned to the same room together
Dang.
at school. So we were roommates there, bunkmates.
You know what I'm a little pissed off about?
What?
And I feel like you skipped over there and you tried to giggle and laugh your way through. What happened when you
At MCT? All right. So I was at MCT. Not a big deal. We were all eating. We had our rifles. And the guy sitting next to me took my rifle. I took his. We didn't know that they were separate, like that they were different.
No.
He went to the next formation, realized it wasn't his, and said that I took his rifle, and he went and turned me in and said that, like,
Oh, so he was scared that he fucked up.
yes. So he just was the first person to realize it.
Yeah.
And so he didn't get dropped. He didn't get in trouble or nothing. And I got dropped back to day one in MCT.
How many days were you in?
There was only 2 days left.
Damn.
So war paint on. We're in the field doing our last exercise, like basically like a makeshift war
Yeah.
in a foxhole.
Yeah.
They came and pulled me out. And they were
Did
like,
you fight this guy?
I never saw him again.
No. Did you fight this guy?
I don't even remember who it was.
Me either. If you, I would have no idea. But that's what happened. It wasn't that crazy. I didn't get like a Article 15. I didn't get a page 11. Nothing. They just were like, you're getting dropped back day one. And I was like, that's a really dumb punishment. And they didn't make me do anything. Like when I went through, I mean, I hiked. We did like the ruck marches and stuff, but I didn't do, like anything crazy that everyone else had to do. And it was like way more relaxed than the second time around. And they had girls.
Oh,
It was a company that had girls. You know, like some companies had girls.
Yeah.
Ours didn't.
I could
when we
see
went
you
through.
just.
Well, I mean, Marines don't do well with females.
No.
That's why I had Carla Hart on, which
Yeah.
Nick knows Carla Hart
I do.
also because we. All right, so after MCT, we go to school together, roommates in school, graduate from there, get assigned to our first duty station, same unit, same platoon,
Dang.
check into the same platoon sergeant. We get there, we stayed in the same unit together, and then he went on deployment. My wife got pregnant. They needed like 10 people to stay behind, and I got picked, which was pretty bogus. So all my friends left, and then he came back, and then we both got augmented to MPs, and we served out MPs for the rest of our enlistment, and then we deployed together. We were in separate in platoons when we were deployed, though.
Right. Yeah.
But other than that, though, we were like together our whole freaking thing. We were roommate. We got a house together when we were living in. At that point, we were living in.
I think it was Hubert.
Hubert, Hubert, North Carolina, which is right outside of Jacksonville. Like we didn't want to stay in the military town.
Nobody
so we
wants
stayed
to
out
stay in
the country.
Jacksonville.
No, so we went out. We stayed in this place called Hubert, which is like in the country. There's nothing around. We lived across the street from a farm.
Probably like 45 minutes away from base, but it was worth every.
It wasn't
second
too
of
bad
it.
because there was a back gate that we were able to go
Oh,
through
okay.
that nobody used.
Maybe 25 minutes.
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
wasn't
I don't
too
think it was
bad.
that
It was
bad.
totally worth
Yeah.
being outside of that area.
That's
we had
how
a
I
Piggly
was in-
Wiggly right there,
I lived outside of Fayetteville.
and a
when I
Taco
lived
Bell that
in
was open till 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yeah, it was. Remember how early it closed?
Who's getting a taco? At
Was
8?
it 9?
Yeah, it might have been 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every other one was like, you're like 2 o'clock in the morning. We can go get Taco Bell. Not this one.
Yeah, you
So
gotta
go.
roll through-
You got to go get food before you get drunk at this Taco Bell.
That's unacceptable. I need to get my tacos at 1 o'clock at night when I'm shit faced and shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car.
Yeah, those tacos you get at the gas station
Oh, okay, fair.
in that place.
Get a couple roller dogs, a couple of taquitos.
Roller hamburgers.
Oh, the roller hamburgers are so good.
Mine's
And
still
there's-
frozen in the middle.
There's no way it's not bad for you. None.
That meat is 50-50.
Yeah.
Taco Bell is less than that.
3,500
he established
grams
it.
of sodium.
It is 50% meat. They agreed to it.
They agreed to 50% meat.
Or 60.
I don't know.
No, it's 60-40. So Taco Bell, here's a fun story. So somebody called out Taco Bell and said that their meat is less than 50%
Yeah,
meat.
they did like a whole scientific
Yeah.
experiment
So-
with it and broke it down.
And then Taco Bell came out like, no, we studied it. It's 60-40. And we were like,
Close.
that's not good either. You can't even buy that at the store. What's that other 40?
You can get the fake
Tasty
meat.
deliciousness?
It's probably.
Are we boring you? Are you on your phone right now? You're the worst.
Listen, she was trying to send me booty pics, all right, and you're kind of interrupting it.
There's barely any service out here. We're in the middle of nowhere.
I know, and that's the only thing I'm gonna have for later.
We're at Nick's family's cabin that they share, and there's nothing around here.
I
Barely
love
any
this.
service.
This is literally my dream.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
Best location podcast we've ever done.
yeah, because most of the time it's been in your basement in like a 3x3 square foot room.
It's clearly not 3x3. You wouldn't fit in a 3x3.
Go fuck yourself.
So that pretty much covers our time together in the military. Both got out in 2007. I stayed in the reserves, but
So I thought that you guys knew each other from childhood.
no.
No.
Marine Corps met at boot camp.
Man, that's crazy.
At boot camp.
Yeah. I had kind of a similar story with a buddy of mine. We same platoon and basic, same. We bunked together in AIT, and then we bunked together again when we got to our first unit. Got stationed at Fort Bragg together, and I have not seen him in forever. But it's weird how the military does that. They kind of give you like a buddy
Well,
to just.
When we joined, there actually was a program called the Buddy Program. In the
Yeah, it still
in the
was when I
Marines.
joined too.
Yeah, so you could
Yeah.
you could be like, oh, I want this guy to go with me, and they said they can make sure you go to boot camp together as long as you don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Go to
Right.
boot camp and go to school together.
Yeah.
And be a station together, and then after that you're on your own. But
Yeah.
I didn't have any buddies though.
I did that, and he decided to fail his senior year, so he couldn't join instead of just telling me he didn't want to. So he did another senior year of high school
That's really cool.
instead of joining the Army.
What a cool guy.
Well, yeah, he ended up, the last time I knew, he was clean from crack and heroin. So I think Brian, if you're out there, fucking stay strong, brother. You just had a kid.
Fuck you, Brian.
Fuck you, Brian. I had to go by myself.
I don't know who Brian is, but fuck him.
Fuck you, Brian. That $2,000, I was really counting on that $2,000 bonus, you son of a bitch. You know what I love about this, though? So if we could see this, right? There's beer, there's whiskey, and guns, and naproxen.
We were in the military.
Everybody this is a standard military table.
And water.
Here. And water.
We're
It's
drinking
God's
water. We got to change our socks.
Yeah, I got fresh socks upstairs.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In case I get too drunk, I'm going to change my socks.
There you go.
Take an aspirin. I'll be fine.
So I don't get the Marines. So you both went in as mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then became NPs?
So in the Marine Corps.
What the fuck?
So in the Marine Corps, we joined during the invasion.
Yeah, obviously.
So
yeah,
right, 2003.
Yeah.
We joined during the invasion. It was
The second invasion.
correct. The second
Yeah.
invasion.
Afghanistan was first. Iraq was
Right.
second. Yeah.
But we had joined during the Iraq invasion, and that time was really crazy. So in the Marines is the smallest branch, least amount of people, least amount
No
of
budget.
no budget.
It's
So-
the Navy's trickle down.
They literally are like, the MPs are. It's a combat MOS in the Marines. So like they don't.
I think it's the same thing in the Army too.
Yeah. So in the Army and the Marines, they both have like a combat side and like
Yeah.
a state side.
Yeah,
job.
you've got
We-
field side and PMO.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
never did that. I didn't want to use the acronyms because I don't know if anybody would know, but state fleet
Sorry.
Who the
Fleet.
fuck cares?
PMO. So you're a cop
Yeah.
or you're a field MP, which is what we got augmented to. So like they'll just in the Marines if they're like we're short people, okay, well grab from a unit that has a ton of people.
So
And we had a ton of people, so they were just like they called over like we need like 20 more people. So they brought us over and they were like they trained us up.
at least they trained you.
Oh, we went to California. We did
29 pounds.
Yeah, went 29 pounds, did desert training, which I'll be honest was pretty cool, but does not prepare you for that first drive out the wire.
No.
When you're just
I
like
don't think anything prepares you for
nothing.
the first drive out the wire.
nothing.
Not a goddamn thing.
But I was I don't know, when we got augmented, I was like really excited. Like I was just like, let's go.
Yeah, and especially that one, a lot of those MPs came from Quantico,
Right.
so they were PMO.
Right.
Yeah.
They were pulling from
Ah.
everywhere trying to get more people because we were so short.
Right, so they switched over to
Nobody
field
was
side.
re-enlisting.
Nobody did deployments. It was maybe a handful of people, MPs and mechanics that had actually had deployed previously. So it was a lot of new.
Yeah. We had a couple guys that were like E4s and E5s that had been deployed like 3 times, and then
Yeah.
everyone else, nothing.
So they did that a little bit too in the Army. I know a couple of buddies of mine, they wouldn't steal from the motor pool because mechanics we were struggling for that. But we had a lot of cooks. So cooks would get augmented into MP units. And if you were a female cook, they were definitely grabbing you.
When we were in, the Marines were so short, there
Yeah.
weren't any cooks.
So if you
It
had
was all civilians.
yeah, I mean, overseas it was all civilians. I never cooked overseas.
No, we even like.
I
Did you
didn't-
ever see a cook in uniform?
Never.
Yeah, we didn't. When I
The
went,
job existed, but we just never.
no.
I think they were so short. They were just like they probably were like, I want to be a cook. You're like, okay, grab a rifle.
Yeah, that's how I ended up in trucks and delivering medical supplies all over the place. I ended up logistically moving shit,
And
but
like
I never cooked.
people say, like they'll be like, oh well, all Marines do combat jobs, or all Marines are riflemen. and all that.
The
That's not-
Army.
I mean, it's true that
Yeah.
you're trained. Like we probably have the most training out of all the branches, but like when you're at your job, like these guys that do admin and supply and stuff, they're not riflemen. They're just at their job. Like
Yeah,
Right.
you
know,
guys
but-
say rifleman. When you're in the Army, they say your first job is a soldier.
Right.
Your first job is infantry.
So we got to Iraq, 2000s at the beginning of 2007, and then we had a couple of guys get hurt and stuff, and they ended up pulling more people. Remember, they pulled them from supply. Do you remember? Fish came over to our platoon.
You
Oh,
had a
he was
fish
one of
too.
those.
I had a fish too. Yeah.
Nice.
He was a tall kid, about 19 years old. that was after Santee.
Yeah.
So we lost a young kid out on patrol, but they pulled more people from supply. More, and then they came over. They had M16 82s, no sights.
I carried an M16 my entire deployment.
Flak jackets without the plates in them.
Yeah, I had
putting
plates.
like one of the telephone books.
Yeah, we were lucky to have M4s and M9s and decent amount of equipment that we needed.
Yeah, I didn't get an M4 until I
We got
ended up.
up armored trucks like right before that.
Yeah, I didn't get an M4 until I was in Cav Scouts. Like until I got attached to Cav Scout units, never touched one. I never even like M9. I've never shot a pistol in the military. Never nothing. I literally carried an M16 for my first deployment. It was terrible. Everyone laughed at me, made fun of me. This was 2008. It's bullshit.
Actually, I shot my pistol way more in the Air Force than I ever did in the Marines. But I carried a pistol primarily.
Well,
in the
MPs, you
Air
guys
Force.
are. I mean, did you guys get? Who had the coolest shotgun? Somebody had to have the shotgun.
No, we didn't do that.
We actually did not.
The only people that had shotguns were finance.
What?
Because they wanted your taxes.
Yeah.
No,
the IRS, bitch.
They would have the briefcases of money
Oh yeah,
and a shotgun to blow up the money in case we ever got taken over.
Yo, fuck the money. I'm blowing my head off. What are we talking about here?
Well, that's second.
Oh.
Boom, boom. Yeah, you give yourself
gonna
that Remington
Yeah, Kurt
retirement
Cobain
plan.
it. Yeah. Kurt Cobain it. You're good. Just.
So Nick, let's get back to Nick.
I'm sorry.
So
I get
shows
off
about
my
Nick. Nick, you have actually a pretty successful post-military experience.
Look at that sweet flannel jacket he's wearing. Look at how fucking professional he looks.
Nick has a family. He's
Jesus.
got kids. He's got a good job. He never got into drugs. He got a.
Fuck you, Nick.
We drank
All right.
before, but I don't think you. Did you ever have a problem with alcohol? Really?
I wouldn't call it a problem. I mean, I did
I mean, feel free to not
party.
talk about all your personal stuff, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just like as like looking from the outside, like it seems like your post-military experience was better than most.
I would say so. I struggled with some things, but not things that matter.
Like what?
Relationships.
Well, everybody does that.
Bro.
But now,
I'm living with my ex, dog. What do you mean? For 2 years.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Nobody loves me.
Yeah. We love you.
Oh. This is the nicest thing someone said to me in 2 years.
Finn loves you.
I love Finn. I'll
Finn-
take Finn home with
Finn
me
looks
right
like
now.
he's sleeping.
Yo.
Finn is the is their dog. He's in here, chilling under a
Chilling.
blanket, sleeping.
No, but as far as like post-military, so when I joined, there was 3 of us that went to the recruiter, myself, Jesse, and Chris, and we all joined, all went to boot camp different times, all from the same town, and Jesse lived 15 minutes away from me, so it was Marine Corps
And then
2.0 every weekend.
Oh,
the
God.
funny thing about Jesse too is Jesse joined right before us, right?
Right.
He joined right
It was in, I believe, June.
Right. June, we were November. Jesse joins, gets an apartment. I didn't know Jesse at all.
Mhm.
I moved to Jacksonville after school. I get an apartment. I find out we live like five apartments across
That's
from each
crazy.
other. So Nick comes over to visit. He's like, I think Jesse lives in here. So we used to like walk through our backyard to each other's house.
The world is so small when you really think about it. Like,
Yeah.
I roomed with somebody from Rochester in Korea during WLC. He lived 15 minutes away from my house growing up. Never met him before, and met him in Korea.
But but you also get the people that run into you. They're like, oh, wait, you were in the Marines? Oh, my cousin's
Yeah.
Jimmy was in the
Do you know?
Marines.
Yeah. Do you know
Jimmy?
James O'Brien?
He
No.
served somewhere down south. You know him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, in the 80s.
He did. Something.
Yeah.
No, I totally know him.
He was in Grenada.
We go way back. Grenada, man. As anger management,
Yeah, what was
great
that, like,
movie.
What was that, like 10 days? He was crazy. I was in Grenada.
They're in the trees. I'm sorry.
I don't know anything about Grenada.
Yeah.
If there's any Grenada fans. watching? Please. Don't
No
do
one's
it.
watching this. We haven't recorded in 3 months. We're gonna put this
Oh.
out there in the world.
Oh, they'll be watching.
Okay.
I got
You're
I
gonna
got
get
more
2
episodes
views.
coming. We've been getting more views,
Okay.
and
We should start recording again now.
yeah. And then if you see, I'm sporting my sweet Army hoodie today.
Oh, go Army, beat Navy.
Only reason I'm wearing this is because my daughter just graduated Army boot camp.
I'm so proud of her. She looks so cool. Way cooler than anything the Marine Corps ever put out.
She
It's
is
awesome.
a private in the Army. She is now at her her school, her AIT in San Antonio, right?
San Antonio,
San Antonio,
Texas.
Texas. And she's coming home in a couple of weeks. We're going to record a podcast with her about
awesome.
her experience. We were going to record when we went down to go visit her in Oklahoma where she graduated boot camp, but it was just so chaotic. It was like a quick 2 days. They don't get any time off after boot camp like we do.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, they get like 2 days, like a family day and a graduation, and then they're gone.
Yeah, and they don't even let you out. You have to check out, I think, 10?
For what?
In the morning? Like, they don't get to just leave or stay overnight. They have to be back in
Yeah,
the base.
yeah. So like it was the same way with us. Family day and graduation were like that, but like after graduation we had 10 days off. But our boot camp is a month longer. So like I guess it sort of makes sense.
Yeah, the Army doesn't trust you enough to leave. They want to just force you right into your next location so you can't do something stupid.
That makes sense because
on
like
the
people
way.
go home and get in trouble, and
Yeah.
start doing drugs, and
They don't want to
else.
waste their investment they just put on you,
Yeah.
sending you through fucking training, and then all of a sudden you go home, get a DUI, and get someone pregnant, which I almost did both.
So Nick, So I like to ask people. I ask all the guests the same question. Do you believe in good? No, I'm just joking. Sorry, that's from the Tosh Show. He has a podcast now. You've seen Daniel Tosh, right?
I mean, I've seen like stand up in the shows.
So he has a
used to do.
podcast now.
It's called the
And
Tosh Show.
He's
I have
only
not
got
seen it.
he's only
Hilarious.
had like 3 guests, and the first guest comes on. He goes, "I ask all my guests this."
Yeah.
Like, all your guests, you haven't had any guests yet. He was like, "Do you believe in ghosts?" And if they say yes, he's like, "What?" And if they say no, he's like, "Okay, end of conversation." Great.
Yeah. The best
right.
part about it was his first guest was his wife's gynecologist.
It's so funny.
I don't know how you get away with that, but that's
don't know.
fantastic.
But for real though, craziest military story. Come on. Funniest. We could do funniest.
Yeah, I do
craziest party.
Do funny. Well, we already talked about your guys' craziest.
I don't know.
Party.
Is your wife gonna listen to this? Is Trish gonna
She
listen?
may.
So maybe we can't go too crazy.
Yeah, we go funniest then.
So because Nick and I were together a lot. I mean, we partied a lot.
So
We
I
had a
really don't
house
matter.
together,
I mean, I'm pretty
house
open
parties.
with all of my anything in the military. So
Okay,
it's,
so
you know,
free
it's-
game then. So are
it's
we
out
talking
there.
about cherries?
Oh, been there many times. I used to go there with Carla.
I know.
Yeah, there was like
Cherries was
our hangout
a
spot.
very nice gentleman's club.
Yeah, kind of probably like Sharky's. Did they have a $5 steak lunch?
So it
because-
wasn't that good.
Oh,
I mean, this was like a high class.
Oh, I'm
establishment,
sorry.
okay?
I'm
right
sorry.
off a base.
What made it high class? What has made cherries a high class?
Being off base.
They took
Yeah.
U.S. currency,
Yeah.
and it was off base.
You didn't have to throw quarters on stage. All right.
Which we've done.
Yeah, who didn't?
It was actually, I want to say it was more nickels than anything.
Oh yeah, throw them at him.
Oh man, those are thick.
Yeah,
Thick
you
ass
got a lot of
nickel.
meat on them.
Got some heft.
So you got any good stories?
I've got a couple. What do you want?
We could talk about my birthday that you planned behind my back.
We already talked about.
Yeah,
that.
we
I know.
did.
We could
did.
get
I was a
another-
part of that.
Okay,
For
well
the
let's get the other side of
All right,
it.
give me
And hang
something
on,
good.
he was pissed.
You don't say.
I mean, my phone, flip phone. All right,
Yeah.
now we're going back a little bit.
Yeah.
Blowing
We're old.
blowing up. Probably 60 missed calls, messages missed. I'm listening to my voicemail, dying laughing. At one point, I was like, okay, this is going on way too long because
He's gonna be
it's-
pissed at the party now.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Not only that, he sounds sad, like he's crying.
I was sad.
I would've
was
been-
we were. This is the part that made me pissed. I'm like, all right, I'm turning 21. Let's have a blowout. We had blowouts every weekend.
Right.
It got so bad that Nicole, my wife, was like, I don't want. You got to pick. You either partying Friday night or Saturday night. We can't have a 3-day blowout every
No,
weekend.
every
And I was
weekend.
like, all
Good
right,
thing Nikki was there
for what?
to keep you in check.
Look how cool Jaden turned out. She was on beer pong tables.
That
partying
kid's gonna
with
be
us.
a problem.
Yeah,
We have pictures of her on a beer pong table.
As soon as she graduates AIT, she's gonna be throwing zins in, smoking cigs, and she's gonna be running.
So she's in the military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before her PT test, you got to smoke a cigarette so you can open your lungs up.
She sent me a video, like a little video, and it was her. She goes, check out my snack drawer. She opens it up, and it's all snacks and Monsters.
Good
Yeah,
girl.
in the military.
She goes, she's like, I should be sponsored by Monster.
She's
like,
adopted the life.
They need somebody who's in right now to be like a Monster.
They have one.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. What's his name? The one what's the lieutenant? He used to be a mandatory fun day.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I fucking love that guy.
Yeah.
He's
He is.
hilarious.
Oh, yeah. He is a lieutenant now. Right?
Yeah,
'Cause
he went green to
he
gold.
Was an E6.
He was an E6 and went green to gold, which were always the best officers. Let's
Mustangs,
just go ahead.
man.
Yeah, Mustang. Yeah.
You know both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is what we do. Let him fucking tell his story. Stop interrupting.
I'll enjoy my bourbon.
There you
I'll
go.
just sit here and relax.
So, like, what type of story you want to hear?
No, you were talking about the birthday party. So he's pissed
so
off.
he was so mad, and
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm collecting things, materials,
Yeah.
drinks, cups, balls. You
Yeah.
know, you know what's people.
Yeah.
All the young guys that didn't have cars or anything.
Throw him in the
Oh,
back
yeah.
of the truck and let's go.
Back of the truck.
Yeah.
Off base we go.
Yeah.
To the house, and
Gate guard's just looking at you like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
How many kegs were in the back of the truck?
I think we had 2 kegs. I think there were 2 full kegs, and I ended up having to go out by like the big round totes.
Yeah.
Dump ice in.
Yeah.
Put it in there because I'm like driving around for a couple hours.
Get a couple privates back there holding the fucking kegs down.
Like, hold
Yeah.
it down. Don't tap it yet.
Yeah.
Just let's get there.
Right.
You know, show up, and people just. It looked like something out of a movie. I mean, people start showing up. Here's Josh, jaw to the ground. I've been calling you. What happened?
Just pissed off all day. I love it too because I can see. I know what you're like when you get angry, and it's hilarious.
You know,
I can only imagine.
At the
that
time,
day.
I had like a lifted red F-250.
Yeah.
It was a big truck,
Yeah.
and so you know when I'm coming down the road,
Right.
and he comes out like he's my dad, mad, just pissed off. And then I back up to the thing with 2 kegs. He goes, "Oh, you're not partying here today?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, we are."
Yeah.
What?
That's the
I mean,
executive producer over there getting
have
very
def-
upset.
My producer is in the studio today. So frustrating.
You have definitely had that look when I have pulled in the driveway.
Yeah.
So,
Nick's dad over there.
but yeah, and
That's
you know,
what you get.
Explained what was going on in the just disbelief. Couldn't believe it. You know,
How
And
many
that-
people would you say was there? Because people don't believe me when I say it.
I don't know, 60.
So this was like a Project X
Bro,
type of
we
deal.
ended up-
Joshapalooza. They made a sign that said
Yeah.
Joshapalooza.
We ended up we took over. So we were on the main road, and then it looped behind that main road,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see the loop. You know, so
Right.
there's only 10 houses. Took over the front, took over the back.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a block party.
That's
of just-
Burnouts.
of burnout, motorcycle burnouts, riding 4-wheeler on the
we were
side.
pouring bleach on tires to do
Yeah.
bigger burnouts because like we
because it
Googled.
smokes it harder.
Mhm.
I don't even know if we Googled it. Because
No, I don't think Google was
around then?
prevalent back then.
I think we tried to figure out how to make more burnouts. Somebody
Maybe
told us
Ask
if-
Jeeves.
Somebody, ask Jeeves for sure.
That was the shit.
But you had to make a whole question.
Yeah.
But it was like, how do you make bigger burnouts? And it was like pour Clorox bleach
Yeah.
on your tires. So we
Yeah.
started doing that.
Nice.
Yeah.
We were riding motorcycles up and down the street.
4-wheelers.
I love this story because I wish I was there, and it reminds me of every house party I did in Fayetteville, and where I would have to carry my drunk friends up and 3 or 4 to a bed in the guest room, and then on the floor. I was just all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
But the main part of the story I wanted to get to was you, sir, smooth talking.
Oh, the close of the night.
The close of the night, smooth
Yes.
talking, the very sweet old lady.
So we'll set this up.
Ah.
It's the end of the night. It's, we've been partying for a while. So it's
End of the
it's-
night, which means morning, because
it's
she's probably getting ready for church.
It had to be like 4 o'clock, right?
Easily.
Yeah.
It's probably 4 o'clock in the morning at this point. We'd been partying for 10 hours. It was daylight out when we started.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And most of us are like laying down or already sleeping or passed out.
Passed out.
My Nicole was passed out in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
She was toast.
Puking?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
that was the most drunk I've ever seen her in my life.
Nice.
Yeah, we were making her some blue drinks.
Yes, mistletoe martinis.
I don't remember what it was. I just
Or no,
Blue motorcycles.
No, it wasn't
Come
mistletoe
on.
martinis. They were like blue raspberry.
blue raspberry something.
raspberry
Yeah.
something with vodka.
martinis. Yeah, something like that.
So then we get a knock at the door.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nick,
Excellent.
Because I didn't go to the door.
So-
I was like, I
yeah.
just opened my door and like looked out. Nick's like,
I
So
got it, big dog.
my entire military career at parties, I was known to be 99% of the time the last one to go to bed.
Yeah.
I was always putting everybody to bed,
Yep.
making sure everybody was.
Well, you're the calming figure. I can see it
Blankets.
right now.
he always has been. It's always like a
Yeah.
calm presence.
Yeah, I make sure if you're sick, you're on your side.
Right.
You know.
Don't
Oh yeah.
throw
How
up
many
all over
times
your
did you
fucking
did
face.
you roll John over so he didn't die of
Yeah.
throwing up in his mouth
Right.
or peeing his?
Or his friend peeing on the couch.
I
Yeah,
had
and
somebody
then
pee through my couch
Was that
on my
Ricky who-
dog.
Ricky.
No, was it?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Calling him out right now.
Fucking Ricky.
Brandstetter.
Dang.
Yeah,
last named him too?
Oh, I nasty-
Yeah,
the
not
last
that.
name.
Not that Ricky.
And then he peed in the cupboard. Remember he peed in the cupboard?
I believe that.
Nicole made him pull all of the dishes out
Good for her.
and clean all of the dishes.
Good for her.
Because she walked, I think it was her. She walked in the kitchen and he's no pants on. And he's got the cabinet open and he's peeing in it.
She's a saint.
And she's witnessed some things.
Okay, so I interrupted you again. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're good.
So, I made sure everybody was tucked away, and I was on the phone at the time with a girlfriend who was living upstate, Canadian border state.
Oh, up there near Quebec, eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love Quebec.
Great fishing in Quebec.
That's some poutine.
Oh,
I love poutine.
we're going up for French fries and gravy, sir.
Yeah. And I hear a knock on the door, very light knock on the door.
Oh, so she was polite about it.
Yeah, I think she was just that old. I mean,
yeah.
she was
Well,
mad.
Walker, right?
She was mad.
Or
Kane.
Jared
Yeah.
Kane, yeah.
So it was like, what the heck is going on here? Open the door. I was like, hang on, 1 second. Let me put the phone down. And she just started lighting me up.
Yeah.
You know,
As to be expected.
oh, you
And probably
want to
deserved.
go to sleep now? I wanted to go to sleep about 12 hours ago. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know who you are. And, she's like, I'm the neighbor next door. You guys have been riding your dirt bikes and cars, and there's like 100 of you. I understand. I was like, I'm really sorry about it. If you would have come over earlier, we probably would have, quieted down
Yeah, probably not.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can do this every weekend. You're always out here making noise and drinking and throwing the cans out on the lawn. She's like, I've definitely seen naked people running around here before. I was like, well, that was probably me.
Yeah. Slept outside a few times.
Yeah.
So apologized and I said, I still feel really bad. Is any way I could just walk you home so you're not by yourself? It is still kind of dark out. It's like, I would actually like that. I said, all right. So I
Fucking sweetheart.
arm in arm, walked her down the road, and got her. You're welcome, lady. That I'm sure is still not around anymore.
Definitely not still alive. All right.
And I got to the door, and she was saying, I was married to a Marine. She's like, I know how you Marines can get, and you get pretty rowdy and wild. It's like, oh, is he still around? She's like, oh no, he died many years ago, and I'm just still living here. I was like, all right, well, it's awesome to have you as a neighbor. You seem okay, and if there's anything we could ever do for you, just feel free to swing on by and
You assholes
ask us.
better have cut her fucking grass.
No, because the people that
grass
cut
didn't really
our
grow.
grass,
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
not in
yeah.
South Carolina.
the guy that cut our grass ended up cutting it in shorts and flip flops and stepped in fire ants,
Oh, yeah, it'll
and
fuck
I
you
had to
up.
take him to the hospital.
Yeah, it'll
So
fuck
that was
you up.
Johnny Boy. That was the
That
other guy
was
that lived
John.
with us.
Yeah.
And he
Almost
found out
died.
he was allergic to fire ants.
Highly allergic.
Most people are.
Yeah, but like he had like a real
Oh, like he
such
was
a bad
gonna-
reaction. Like he almost died.
Yeah.
Sweet. Good for him.
That
John
was-
had to pick his ass up and take him to the doctor.
Look at you, bud.
Yeah, took him to on base
Yeah,
to
he's
the
like a
to the Navy
savior.
hospital, waited with him, called his parents, called his command, so he wouldn't get in trouble. Then I had to
Right,
call
because
my
he wasn't
command
showing up. Yeah.
and then, tell him what was going on.
Yeah.
Which I still think I got in trouble for. 'Cause I
How?
didn't show up to him.
Yeah, that is true though, because
He's like, he's not in your command. We don't care about him. I was like, oh, that's
Right.
not true.
So that was probably the craziest party we ever threw.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, that sounds
bonkers.
like a fucking sweet deal.
But not the craziest story I was thinking of. I was hoping you were going to tell a different story.
Well, we baited him into that one.
Yeah, I mean, which one are you talking about? The joyride I took?
Yes,
kinda-
finally
Yeah,
he
I
brings
kind of
it up.
figured you would talk about
And I
it.
don't think I ever told Josh too much about this. So
I don't
this
know
is gonna
anything
be-
about it.
This is going to be great.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you want to put this out in the universe? This is the first question.
So if you do a background check, you're going to find it.
Is there a fucking mugshot?
Yep.
Is there? I don't know if there is a mugshot or not.
I
What-
mean, all right. So let's. I just want to tell you my side,
Okay.
okay? And then I want you to. And then you're gonna.
I need
say,
a year, town, and month.
No.
All right. I just want to see if I can find a mugshot.
You know
It's
what?
probably
Maybe that,
Onslow County.
yeah. Maybe that's why I get delayed every time I go to buy a firearm. It could
So
be.
Nick shows up at our house,
Okay.
and he's on a motorcycle.
Okay.
That's not his.
Which I did not own. a
You
motorcycle.
did tell me this fucking
Okay.
story.
So he comes into the house, but I didn't tell you everything.
You didn't tell me who it was, and I did not realize it was. That's okay.
So
Let's do this.
Nick comes in and he looks scared, like really scared. Guys, I just messed up.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean you messed up? I just ran from the cops. Why would you do that? I don't have my license. And I'm like, okay, why don't you just stop? I don't know. I just took off. And they chased me, but they couldn't catch up. So you came here? And he's like, I didn't know what to do. And then everyone's like, well, you got to go turn yourself in.
Nah, fuck that. Put the bike in the
They
garage.
already have the plates.
Well, I didn't know that at the time.
But, okay. So then he got a phone call. So
Now
let's-
this is hours later.
right. So
Yeah.
so that's just my part of it. You
Mhm.
came in. Everybody was giving me a hard time because later on in the story, which we'll get
Sure.
to. But all right. So let's hear your side of the joyride story.
Okay. So another Marine lent me his
AJ
motorcycle.
Cole,
I wasn't
which
gonna,
I've talked about before.
I wasn't going to put his name out there,
Oh,
but
he's local. He's in Rochester.
I don't think so.
He was in Rochester for years. He was running the what's that program in college where kids can like act like they're in the military?
Oh, like a ROTC.
Yes, he was running the
Okay.
ROTC program in Rochester. He was there for years. I mean, he's probably gone now, but
Yeah.
he was there for a little while.
No. So he was a couple, 2 years, year and a half after
he was a
us.
young guy, yeah.
So
His main way of transportation was a motorcycle, he
motorcycle.
bought.
Yeah.
Because he was a Lance Corporal.
Yeah.
Or a PFC. He was probably a PFC.
yeah, it was a Kawasaki 636.
It was so cool.
It was cool.
That
was
was the bike.
fast.
That was the first. That was the first crotch rocket I ever rode.
So I've seen
I
you
was
drive a
obsessed.
car. I can't imagine you on a bike.
It's worse.
Yeah. I believe that.
I have no fear. My problem is, so like he always gets mad at me because of how I drive. I have no fear when I'm driving or riding. You've seen me ride a motorcycle.
I've never seen you ride a motorcycle.
You were behind me on the highway when I left work, and I cut through traffic. And like,
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. Like an ass. I was trying to block traffic for him so he could go safely.
I'm like,
And this asshole is just fucking weaving through cars and shit on
I don't know,
a 650.
Serpentine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Duck and
All
weave.
right.
So continue.
Okay, so he lent me his motorcycle for the weekend. At the time, Jesse was, I believe he was on leave. So I was staying at his house, left his house. Now, keep in mind, I'm in my camouflage uniform.
As is everybody in that town, but keep going.
Right.
Right.
Heading to base to drop
Perfect.
the motorcycle off.
Okay.
I got my safety thing on. I got a book bag on. Driving down the main strip in Jacksonville, and I look in my rearview mirror, and probably 4 or 5 cars behind me, I can see there's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
No lights on, no nothing. Wasn't doing anything wrong.
Right.
Put my blinker on. I turn left onto the road that the base is attached to.
Mm-hmm.
Start going down. Start to give a little throttle. Well, I look again, and now this cop, you can see he's weaving in and out of
For what?
cars, hits the lights on, and it was something inside of me just said, well, he's looking for me. I have no clue why. I mean, didn't do anything illegal.
Right.
Other than you didn't have your license.
But nobody gives
correct.
a fuck about
Exactly.
that. No
What do you-
cop gives a shit.
you would've got a
He
little
wouldn't
ticket
have known that.
Right.
Right. So I was like, whatever. And he came up pretty hot behind me, and I said, well, not today. Drop 2 gears and hammer down.
And I can attest that bike is stupid fast.
It was quick. It was pretty quick.
Okay.
Now, not the smartest choice.
Yeah. Depends on who you ask.
This was on a Sunday. I believe it was a Sunday.
The Lord's Day.
It was the weekend, yes.
Weekend for sure. Probably a Sunday.
Okay.
A lot of cars. Took the left shoulder. Made my way past 200 cars.
On to base.
No.
No,
So
he
I
wants to-
knew
He didn't
they're going to catch me on base.
Yeah, they're definitely going to catch you on bass. That's like, yeah.
So
That was the smartest thing ever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a second gate. I went, oh, I could take a right. And I went, or I could just take a left and start to circle, which I took the left. And then I went, no, I'm going to take another right after I took the left. And there's nobody. The country. We live in the country.
Right.
There's nobody around.
All right.
Just drove. I drove. Eventually, an hour later, found my way back to the house and went, oh, wow, that road reaches out here. Okay.
Nice.
Pulled in the driveway, shaking, walk in the door. That's when I explained to Josh that I have probably effed up.
Probably.
I don't think so, man. I think you could have gotten away with it. I'm
Yeah.
still on team getting away with it. at this point.
I'll tell you
let's,
how I got caught.
Yeah. There was more of a story.
Yeah. So I stayed in uniform.
Ugh.
I ended up taking a nap. And I was like, I gotta sleep this
Yeah,
adrenaline off.
dump. Yeah.
I was like, just let me gather my thoughts here.
And we had people over. There was
Yeah.
like a few of our friends were over.
Just a couple people. Woke up and I walked outside and here drive 2, I believe they were state police, 2 of them, past the house real slow because the bike's in the driveway. There's no garage. And I was like,
Put it in the backyard.
I was like, well, it's open.
Oh.
So I went, I guarantee they put out a bolo and they're looking at a green bike
All right.
in a driveway close to where it happened. So I stood outside. They saw me and they just left. I was like, oh,
We did it.
we did it.
Everything's fine.
I'm good.
But it wasn't fine.
No, and I almost immediately got a phone call afterwards. And it was Onslow County PD. And they said, listen, we know it was you. I was like, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Immediately deny.
Well, kind of. At first, I wasn't putting the pieces together. And they're like, the motorcycle thing. I was like, oh, that thing. Okay. He goes, we know it's you. We had the license plate before we even made contact with you.
Yep.
I'm going,
For what?
right. So somebody out on that the first main drag didn't like that I was switching lanes to make my way further up the rows.
Isn't North Carolina, can't you,
No.
so you can't go between cars in North
That's
Carolina?
South Carolina.
Well, so I wasn't going between them. I was still switching lanes.
So who the fuck cares?
Somebody didn't like it.
Some
so they were
fucking
going to
old
stop
lady.
me and just say, hey,
right.
just stay in one lane. Whatever it is. Yeah.
That's not, okay.
Regardless. He said, so we had the plate before we even made contact. I said, okay. Well, the plate doesn't go to you. It belongs to Cole. I said, okay. I'm not going to say yes or no.
Right.
I just said, okay. Well, we're at the barracks right now,
Ooh.
and we're going to be... the bike's not here. You're talking to us about this incident, and we're about to arrest Cole.
Damn.
So
I said,
that's what we were
Can't
like,
let Cole go
can't
down.
let
And I
Cole-
said,
yeah,
okay,
it's all messed up.
what do you want me to do? He said, don't run. You don't, get in a car and go home. Just come down to the police department. I said, okay. And that was, obviously I wasn't going to let Cole take the
Right.
heat on that one. That would be absolutely wild. So our friend John drove me down to the police department. I was still in uniform. And they booked me on charges, fingerprints. I still don't know if they took a mugshot. Maybe they did. I'm sure they
What were
probably
the
did.
charges, though? Like, were they getting you, like, reckless endangerment?
So,
Evaded.
well, fleeing and eluding,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
speeding, which I would still argue. I
Yeah,
mean,
because they didn't clock you.
well, they
But how fast
they
were
did.
you going?
They couldn't have clocked
Well,
you.
Correct.
Listen to this though. Listen to what they charged him with. How fast he was going.
It was like 180 in a 55.
Bud.
And I was like, a 600 doesn't even go 140
I was about to say,
miles an
and how
hour.
much did you weigh at the time?
Then I was only like maybe two bills probably.
Yo, you still hitting 2 bills on a 6? No, there's
No.
no way.
No way.
Maybe 150.
On a Ducati
No.
1000, maybe you could hit that, but
Well, there's a story on that one.
okay.
He actually had a, he had a Ducati after that.
Yeah.
They let you get a motorcycle after that?
Oh yeah.
All right, keep going.
Yeah, you can't stop deployment money, buddy.
No, you ain't lying, bud. You ain't fucking lying. I wish I bought a motorcycle instead of a Mustang. That would have been a way better investment.
Yeah. So I get down to the police department, and they showed me the video, and I was like,
How were you moving though? Was
and I'm sitting there watching the video going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Ooh,
oh,
hell
yeah.
yeah.
I'm hitting the apex.
Can I get a
right
copy
on,
of that?
spot on.
Not a single high five.
Yeah.
This is before YouTube.
Oh yeah. So they made me write a deposition, got the deposition in, and then they transported me to the jail.
Damn, they went this hard for a motorcycle chase?
As soon as you
Yeah.
as soon as you run from the cops, it's felony.
Okay.
Potentially.
Correct.
Right.
So they put me in a holding cell. I don't know. I was there for 8 hours, 10 hours, something like that. Met some really interesting people in there.
Usually. I would
He
assume.
decided to use his phone call to call us.
So that's not true. I got a few phone calls.
Oh, okay.
The first one was to my command. And
Good call. That's a good call.
they actually came to get me, and it was, I believe his name was Barker. He was a corporal at the time
That sounds right.
from like Tennessee, I think he is. Him and the OOD showed up, and they would not release me to them.
Why?
Happened out on town. They said no, we're keeping him. This is he's going to jail.
God damn.
Yeah. So
You pissed someone off, bud.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
meing,
didn't like being
probably
made,
a whole
they didn't
community.
like being embarrassed. He embarrassed them, probably.
Yeah. So I believe I called.
I'm pretty sure the cops aren't supposed to pull over motorcycles like that, though. Like
Did
it's a
Did
danger.
you call JoJo? Because
Possibly.
JoJo was at my house. So it was JoJo, me, John, Nicole. You called one of us.
Yeah.
The smartest person to call there would have been Nicole.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think that far.
Right.
Well, I didn't think far. In
The
any
only
of
one that
this.
probably was sober would have been Nicole.
Yeah.
Oh, we weren't drinking. Right? We were just hanging out.
Oh, okay.
So whoever I called, and then I called my parents, let them know, which that was a fun.
How'd that phone call go, Dad?
He didn't get the call. My mom did.
Sketty's got it.
Sketty's got it. Yeah.
We call his mom Sketty. She's Chilean.
Yeah.
And she says very broken English. And she says Sketties when she's
Instead
talking
of-
about spaghetti.
I mean, good for her. That
She's
sounds delicious, too.
Fantastic.
I bet you. I hope that phone call's saved somewhere. It was that pre-saving phone
Oh
call.
yeah. No,
But-
this is you're
So
talking. We're talking
eventually-
2006.
So eventually you called one of us, though, to ask us to bail you out.
And everybody said, "Go fuck yourself."
I told him to go fuck himself.
How much was the bail?
It wasn't the point.
No,
correct.
fuck you. How
So
much was the
I,
bail?
I believe it was
I
500
think it's
bucks.
500
I would have bailed you out.
So Nicole was like, I'm going to go bail him out with JoJo.
Exactly.
And I
The
was
person to call.
I was like, you tell Nick to go fuck himself. He
You're-
sits in jail for one more day.
So I don't know.
I'll give you 8 hours is enough.
dad's laughing. He thinks it's funny. I wanted to let him sit there for a day.
8
let him learn
hours
his
is
fucking
enough.
lesson.
You'll learn a fucking lesson like you would have done the same goddamn
I
thing.
wouldn't have ran from the cops.
I would have. So I would have bailed you out.
Yeah,
Nick.
I mean, I haven't ran since, so it was scary.
I'd have ran.
So
with you.
he did. So they did go bail him out.
Yeah. So I don't know where
Good.
in this story my friend Chris got involved
That's what I lived down
because he
down
came
the street from us, right?
also. No.
Oh, I thought that was the one that lived down the street from us in that house that was down by the corner.
Oh, maybe he did.
Yeah, remember you were staying there every once in a while.
Hmm. So either way, so
That's where you went and punched Hillebrand's face in.
no. That was, I don't remember his name. I think I still follow him on Facebook, but he was another maintenance Marine
Oh, okay.
that I was just house sitting for during that party. But either way, so my friend Chris that I grew up with, who was in Tank Battalion, he got involved also. Because I want to say it was the three of them that went down there to get me.
Gotcha.
At this point, I've got the blanket. I've got my orange jumpsuit, my flip-flops. I'm in chains.
First speeded.
That's rough.
And they're like, okay, you walk that way. You know, we're going to put you in a place to sleep.
Right.
It's like, nobody's bailing me out. This sucks. I'm going to have to shiv somebody.
Yeah.
You know, within the first...
You got to establish dominance quick.
No, he went there. He was like, "Hey guys,
I'm a big old bear.
So they're like, wait. You all me? I was like, yeah. Room 3. It's like,
Room 3? You got your own room? Look
was
at
like,
you, bud.
okay. They're like, somebody wants to talk to you. It's like, all right. So I open the door. And there's this person sitting in there that I've never seen before in my life, ever. I sit down. It's like, not me. I was like, I don't know you. Close the door. They're like, sit down. That's who you need to talk to.
Okay.
Okay. So I sit down, and it's like, oh, you messed up. I see. Yeah. Who are you? It's, I'm a bail bondsman.
Oh,
He's
shit.
like, ooh, okay. How do you know me? And that's when everybody walked in. They're like, you stupid. I was like, oh, thank God. I see some, like a familiar face. Was bailed out. And that night, I ended up not going home. I went with my friend Chris, who his wife bartended.
Perfect.
He took
I mean, you
me-
got to wear, yeah,
He took me straight to the bar. He
Yeah.
absolutely blitzed.
100%.
He's like,
What
yeah,
else are you supposed to do?
He's
Go
like, that was
home
a
and think about what you did?
rough
Absolutely
day, man. I
not.
was like, oh, I'm in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you got to drown those sorrows away, but you don't want to think about that shit that early.
Yeah. So I was charged with 180 and a 55. They couldn't get me on not using directionals because I used one every time.
Nice.
Smart,
Way to let
smart.
them know where you're going and
Yeah.
leave them in the dust.
take it away."
That's a twofer. That's
In the,
ultra embarrassing.
And the fleeing and looting.
That's why
which-
you got pulled. That's why you got arrested, because you were telling them where you were going and they just couldn't catch you.
Yeah, they're like,
This
well, he's
mother-
giving
this
us
mother-
all of the clues.
This
all of
motherfucker.
them.
All right, you turn it around. You turn it around.
Yeah. So all of that went down. Got back to base.
Yeah.
Which I guess looking at it now, I probably should never have called my command because they would never have known.
Back then, they wouldn't report it.
The cops?
Yeah.
No, it's
They
happened out of
didn't.
town.
They never
No.
reported it.
No.
So like a local PD would, but it was a county, and they
Yeah.
never said anything.
So they're
Damn.
like, so
How far away from the military base were you guys that actually was a difference? Like, it couldn't have been that much.
It wasn't far at all, but it was just the county police were there instead of the local PD.
yeah.
Instead of Jacksonville PD or whatever it was.
So as soon as I got back to the barracks, OOD picked me up. They're like, no, you are not staying in this room. You're going down to like where the naughty Marines go, which it's the first floor of the barracks in the center. Could not wear civilian clothes. It was like you were back at boot camp.
Oh, fuck that.
Every Friday you had to put your chucks on, bed made just like in boot camp. Couldn't have a phone. Nothing.
That sucks.
And,
That's worse than jail. I'd have rather been in jail.
I did that for a week or two
It wasn't very long.
because at that point is when the MPs came in and were like, we need volunteers to augment to come to MPs.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're like, we're also specifically looking for Marines that have deployed and have experience.
There you go.
So it's like a ding dong,
Yeah.
I'm
Let
here.
me get out of this hell and go into another one.
Which I'll talk about small story or small world on that. So they picked me up. I got put back with Josh.
Uh-huh.
So there's a group of 20 of us, 25 of us.
Yeah.
How did you not fight this fuck for not coming to get you?
I just took it as I fucked up.
Oh,
So,
man.
is what
I'd
it
have-
is.
I'd
I mean,
have
like,
punched you in
I
the face.
totally see where, like, I would do it now if it was I'd be like, no, he's going to sit in there for a day. And he's going to see
I was
how
gonna
scary
get
it
him the
is.
next day.
I would have rather just got you out and then fucked with you the whole night.
No,
Because what I'm going to do to you is going to be worse than what the fucking jail could have done to you.
I think.
Well, at the time, I didn't know that. It was like, what, 21?
I think at the time I was more mad that he came to my house.
Oh,
like,
with
I
stolen
ran
with
from
stolen
I
property.
ran from the cops,
Well, technically,
and I
stolen.
came to your house.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would you do that?
Okay.
The whole situation. But it was really just like, I'll get him
you told me
tomorrow.
you guys live together.
We did live together.
I still had to maintain
A
room
barracks
at the
room.
barracks
Yeah. Got
because
it.
Because he was only
single.
an E3. Yeah.
Right.
And so where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so we get picked up. Now we're in this platoon, and the guy that picked, he was a first sergeant,
Master Sergeant.
master sergeant.
Yeah.
He wanted to hang me
Yeah.
hard.
Just
Like,
out. Like
He was such a jerk.
He heard what happened, and he goes, "I'm going to make sure you are dishonorably discharged out of the Marine Corps. I'm going to do everything in my power to do it." I was like, "Oh, great, cool."
And then we like basically never saw him again.
Right. So then we had that big. It was at the battalion buildings
Yeah.
when the MPs came in, and this guy, he goes, "All right, where's Almy? You know, raise your hand. Walk over there. You need to come with me. We need to have a conversation." Okay. He was a gunny. Did you get in trouble? Yeah. Explain to me quickly what happened. So I explained the whole situation. I was like, "Hey, I do have a lawyer. He's waiting on a court date with a specific judge to run the case."
Yeah.
Okay. He's like, "All right. So you have a lawyer. Are you able to deploy?" It's like, "Yes. The lawyer has already said he will postpone this case till I come back." And I was, "Okay. That's all I needed to hear." He's like, "Are you dedicated to the deployment?" "Yes." "Are you going to do everything I ask of you?" "Yes." "Get back in formation. You're going." It's like, "All right,
There you
cool." And that gunny, coincidentally, used to be a recruiter in Glens Falls, which is
such a small. fucking
30
world.
minutes away from where my recruiter was,
Crazy.
who was also an MP, who was also deployed on our second deployment. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, "Man, I know this guy." I was like, I was like, "Where are you from?" "I'm from New York." "Where?" "Upstate." "Where?"
All right.
You probably wouldn't have heard, but Saratoga's. "I'm from Saratoga."
Right.
I was like, "I have definitely done pool E functions with you." He's like, "Yeah, I just got out not that long ago,
Yeah.
a couple years ago." So
It's crazy how small the world is, and I feel like the military does that shit on purpose to kind of put you with people you would know
possibly
to make you feel a little bit better. There's like a behind the scenes algorithm or some shit.
Well, let's go. Long story short, on the end of this, Almy, go ahead.
I don't know where you're going with that part, but hang on. All right, so
All right.
they pick us up. We do the deployment. Come back. My lawyer calls. And he's like, we had just got back.
Yeah.
You need clothes. We're going to court.
God damn, they still had a court case out on you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
They wouldn't cut it for the fucking.
No.
Damn,
Nothing.
you pissed somebody off.
So get to court. I look like a bag of rat's ass.
Right.
You know, just I bought clothes that are way too big. My
Right.
tie's hanging down to my knees.
My cousin Vinny style.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
So I get in front of the judge, and the lawyer goes over the case. He goes, "What are you thinking?" I wasn't. It was like, something. I don't want to say snapped, but I was scared to get in trouble. I didn't have a license. I didn't want to get dropped from being able to do another deployment or whatever. I was like, I don't know what it is about you Marines. He goes, "Do you have deployments under your belt already?" I go, "Yeah, well, now I have 2, but before this happened, I had 1. Now you guys, you come back from deployment, you get a wild hair in your ass, and you just seek that adrenaline any way you can get it."
Correct.
It's like
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
kind of. Yeah, it is. It's a high.
Right.
If anybody tells you it's not, they're lying.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Have you ever been in trouble since then?" "Absolutely not." "What are you doing for the next year?" I go, "Well, actually, I'm leaving the Marine Corps in a month. Like that's my EAS date is in another month and a half."
Yeah, we
something
got
like that,
back. We had enough time to take terminal leave and go.
and leave. So he goes,
They really used and abused you boys.
"Oh yeah,
Yeah.
rode hard and put up wet."
Yeah. Get it, girl.
So he says, "Well, in that month, what's your plans? Are you sticking around?" I said, "Absolutely not. I'm going back to New York." I said, "Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a 1-year supervised probation unsupervised probation in 2 months. So that's going to give you enough time to get out of my state. I'm also revoking your license or driving privileges for 1 year on that same day.
Yeah, in North Carolina.
In North Carolina.
Yeah,
right.
who gives a fuck?
And I'm dropping the fleeing and looting down to a misdemeanor. All other charges are going away. Because I can pay whatever $800 to the court.
Right.
That okay? Is that fair enough? I was like, that's way more fair than I thought I was going to get.
Yeah,
So
you
I was
basically
like,
skated right out of it.
I'll take it. A month and a half later,
As you should. You just got back from your second deployment
Yeah.
in 4 years. You should absolutely skate from an evading.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
I got out.
This is America.
I drove home.
I wish he was the cop that pulls you over.
I wouldn't even have given you a ticket. I'd have said, good job.
Dang, 180?
Yeah.
High five. Don't
What-
be a retard.
180 on a 250.
That's the most important thing.
636.
All right,
Yeah. So drove home. Didn't go back for. It's
What
probably like 2
fucking
years,
channel is this
and,
game on? I'm
That was
sorry.
that.
Yeah,
But
we
I
went
was
back and visit John.
Yeah, I was
think
I
at
was
one
the
point.
discussion though many times of battalion wide
briefs.
safety briefs. I got out and I heard
Outstanding.
people were calling me. They said it again.
Don't drink and drive. Don't drive and drink. Don't pull a Nick Almy.
Don't run from the cops
Yeah.
on a motorcycle like that idiot did. And I was like, oh heck yeah, I'm a legend.
I love
Did
it.
again.
Yeah, go Nick.
That's a great story.
That's a fantastic story. What fucking channel is this Army Navy game on?
Okay, so about the end of the podcast.
So is that where you were going with the end of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
What did-
basically
no,
you got
hold
nothing.
On. What did
Right.
you write down on the fucking list? Because there's got to be something else.
No, I was just talking about his military service,
Okay.
and then that we did a lot of things together, and then I wrote Motorcycle Story, which we covered.
Yep.
And then at the
found
bottom, and I wrote Reasons to Make Josh
Oh,
Mad, and I wrote Ukraine, Israel, and Hunter Biden. Not
As
many-
what did I fucking tell you? I told you who's gonna bring it up.
Oh, he's back to life. Look
Yeah.
at him.
No, I was at life the whole time. But
we don't have time to cover those issues today, which we'll cover next week's episode.
fuck you.
I like to get them riled up.
Yeah.
Political issues that I know like really make.
Well, he did this in the car ride here. Okay, let's not
Yeah.
get it twisted. He got me red hot. We stopped a
Well,
podcast.
that's how I know. Like, I'll just like start talking about stuff, and if he gets like really pissed off about it, he's like, "I don't even want to talk about it anymore." Then I'm like, "All right, that's a good one for the podcast." Write that down.
Yeah.
There is some really interesting stuff going on. Obviously, Ukraine and Israel.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden just got indicted on a bunch of charges.
If you don't support Israel, you can go fuck yourself.
Button.
Which one?
Yeah. Bah, 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 bah.
There you go.
All day.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think what's going on in Israel is crazy, and the only
All you fucking Hamas supporters out there, gays for Hamas, they would cut your fucking head off.
that makes no sense. We're going to talk about this, but I
You're-
will end the
oh.
episode by saying that if what happened in Israel
You wanna
happened
get
in
murdered?
America, and it did. I mean, 9/11 happened here, and if you were to compare their population to our population, and then how many people died in Israel on October 7th, 2023, and compare it to 9/11, it would be like 10 9/11s
Yeah.
happening. So imagine if like all
We
around the
galvanized an
country,
entire nation off of
Right.
less than 5,000 people dying.
3,000
People die in
well,
Gaza constantly.
Right, but think about this. So like if like 10 9/11s happened all on the same day, and like even 5, right? 5 different states got hit with planes and took all those buildings down. What our response would be? Our response, they took down like 7 buildings, but like really, they say the Twin Towers. If
And a part of the Pentagon.
We literally invaded 2 countries and
Fought a
Killed-
war for 20 years.
and killed tens of thousands
Yeah.
of people. They've killed
We still got a presence
They've
in
killed
both countries.
They've killed
20
a
years
couple
later.
thousand people, and everyone's losing their mind calling for a ceasefire. Could you imagine if after we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan, people were like, "You need a ceasefire." Ceasefire? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more
just told me
fire.
to fuck
Kill
themselves.
them all.
So like, it's weird that now all of a sudden it's like a different country, same situation, but it's a different country. and
Our
everyone's
best
treating it differently.
ally.
Yeah.
Besides Great Britain, in the last 100 years, the reason we won World War II, that's just, I don't Get
So
fuck
if you
guys.
have any interesting insights into those topics or Nick's topics from today, or you want to write Nick
Excellent stories.
any comments or anything, you can leave it on the YouTube, or you can send us an email straightouttathesandbox@gmail.com. We also got Instagram and we got TikTok And
We got to
have
get
X.
back on that.
Yep, straight out of the sandbox. If you search us on any of those platforms, we'll come right up. You'll see our stupid faces on there.
We might
And you
need
can
to
write us
change the
messages.
day that this releases. So now we've got a day off together. We
Yeah.
can start to work this into the situation.
Yeah.
So maybe the new release date for the podcast is going to be the beginning of your week, baby. You're going
Monday
to
morning?
start your week off with a whole lot of this. And you're welcome.
And you
Yeah.
want it.
You
you
want
want
it. You need it in
You
your
need
life.
You need it. Yeah.
I wake
And
up
you're gonna
looking
get
this
it.
good.
I do have a
all
few
day.
more guests coming on. I have talked to a couple other people. I have a guy that runs a suicide prevention program for veterans in Rochester.
That's a strong dude.
And he has his own truck and trailer. He pulls around to different events, just doesn't sell anything. He does collect donations and stuff, which we'll talk about, but it's not like a business. He just is concerned about veteran suicide. So he will be on, and I have a couple other people that are interested. So we got some other strong episodes coming up. Plus, my daughter's episode will be getting released at the end of December.
I'm going to make her do push-ups in the middle of this fucking podcast.
She is probably the reason why I'm trying to lose weight. Because I was like,
Yeah, you got a little tubby.
She's embarrassing me.
Yeah.
At this point,
You should
So,
feel embarrassed.
I wanted to wear my uniform to her graduation. She was like cool about it, and it didn't fit. And I was like,
How bad did it not fit?
Oh,
it was pretty bad. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it sized. And then I just got real discouraged by it, and I just didn't wear it. And she didn't really care to my face. I don't know if she cared.
She
or not.
cried at home. She told me about it later.
Shut up. You're an idiot. No, she didn't. Anyways, so
I'm the worst.
that's what we'll leave today's episode. Thanks, Nick, for being on the podcast.
This is awesome, man.
here-
You
here's an
definitely got to be
idea.
on again. We already talked about doing another one outside at your
Yep.
other camp. So, what were you gonna say?
my ass.
Good idea for you though. Lose the weight,
Okay.
get in your uniform, and when you find out she's getting promoted,
Oh,
maybe
pin
you
her.
could go. Maybe you go down see if you could pin her.
So I was going to pin her because she was supposed to be getting E3, but she did not get it.
Dang.
So she's an E2 right now, but she'll be getting, like you said, I will do that.
You probably got a chance. So she'll hit her 2 years pretty close to when she's getting out of training.
She'll be she's gonna be a
She'll be in
PFC.
E3.
she'll be a
PFC.
She'll be a PFC at
A year mark.
Yeah.
It's automatic at a year.
yeah.
So she'll
So
hit
next
that.
year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just 90. So for me, I was actually fortunate enough when I got out. My father was picking up Chief, and I was able to go to his ceremony to pin him. That's like probably one of the coolest.
Right.
So you're like, dude, I'm pinning
Well,
somebody.
Jaden,
This is
and
friggin'
I was talking on
wild.
the podcast, but she was strongly considering going officer, which I completely back.
Discouraged.
I definitely want her to do it.
Yeah.
So she goes, you're gonna have to salute me. How how proud I would be to salute you.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
So
I'd cry like a little bitch.
Well, I mean,
Anything
look at the
else
jersey
to-
you're wearing.
Fuck you.
it is.
I'm watching the game right now, so you guys can go
It is
fuck
the Army
yourselves.
Navy game today. While
It's
we
on
were
right now.
recording.
Go
It's
Navy,
on.
beat
We're
Go
Go
gonna
Army.
Army,
watch it.
baby. Look at this.
We're gonna
Fucking
drink-
Let's go.
We're gonna drink a bunch more.
I'm going to drink some sodas.
Josh is gonna have a couple soda pops. The
Hey.
rest of us are gonna have a couple of real pops, and we're gonna have a great day.
Absolutely.
All right.
Love you guys.
Thank you for having me.
This was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were very not ready for this.
Not at all.
Not at all, but you fucking killed it, dude.
Cool.
Absolutely. All right. Are we going to do the outro music? Oh, shit. Give it to me. Yeah. Oh, girl, I'm in your shit.
And I'm muting you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. We
Go fuck
appreciate it.